I rise today in support of the thousands of people who will travel to our nation's capital this week to join us in the March for Life. Marching proudly among them will be many, many Nebraskans. Families, neighbors, student organizations, and church groups. They're going to brave the snow and the freezing temperatures to march along the National Mall as part of a peaceful rally that draws attention to pro-life and pro-women policies. Since I first started my career in public service, I have supported common sense pro-life measures that protect women and unborn children. All too often, women are faced with unplanned pregnancies, and they experience condemnation instead of compassion. These women shoulder despair, pain, and judgment when they should receive comfort, assistance, and reassurance. These mothers should always know they have support as they face challenging years ahead. Here in the Senate, I am proud to pledge my support for several pro-life bills. This afternoon, I would like to highlight a few of them. Once again, I am co-sponsoring the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. This legislation would prohibit abortions after 20 weeks unless it is necessary to save the life of the mother or the pregnancy as a result of rape or incest. 20 weeks, as advances in science and medical technology tell us, is the point at which an unborn child is capable of feeling pain. When I served in the Nebraska legislature, we passed the first ban on abortions after 20 weeks. Republicans and Democrats, pro-choice and pro-life senators voted in its favor because it is sound policy. We should enact this common sense legislation at the federal level as well. I am also a co-sponsor of the Protect Funding for Women's Health Care Act. And this bill would prohibit the federal funding of Planned Parenthood or any of its affiliates. In 2016, Planned Parenthood received nearly $544 million from the federal government. I believe that Congress must redirect this funding to where it belongs, and that's to our community health centers. In Nebraska, we have 7 community health centers with 44 clinic sites all across our state. I've had the opportunity to visit these sites, and I see firsthand the high-quality, compassionate care that they provide to women in need. Our patients in Nebraska would be better served if this federal funding were directed toward these centers and also these clinics who serve all Nebraskans everywhere in our state, not to Planned Parenthood. The Protect Funding for Women's Health Care Act is another common sense solution that will protect life and help provide comprehensive health care for women. And finally, I will once again support no taxpayer funding for abortion and Abortion Insurance Full Disclosure Act, introduced by the senior senator from Mississippi. Since the 1970s, the Hyde Amendment has prohibited the use of federal dollars to fund abortions, but it requires a yearly passage through Congress. This measure would permanently establish in statute the protections of the Hyde Amendment. These are a few of the important pro-life policies that I'm working on here in the Senate. Mr. President, again, I want to welcome all of the Nebraskans who are traveling over 1,000 miles to take part in the March for Life. It's great to see the pro-life movement building such momentum. More and more young people are joining the cause and standing tall for this timeless value. And I want to thank each and every one of them for their courage and for taking a stand for what they believe in, for what science tells us. They march not with anger or condemnation, but with love and hope. They will be living out the direction of Mother Teresa when at the 1994 National Prayer Breakfast she said, "A sign of care for the weakest of the weak, the unborn child, must go out into the world. Then really, you will be true to what the founders of this country stood for." So to all of the Nebraskans and to all the Americans who will gather here in Washington for the March for Life, please know that I support your every step. Thank you, Mr. President. I would yield the floor.